Okay, I'm going to be able to start a little early tonight, and I'll just get into the super chats I've already got here, and then we'll go from there. Let's see here. All right. Okay, so interesting moment here with the market. We're going to get the yen to weaken more, support markets. VIX goes lower, or is it the opposite? And market is trying to decide that tonight, I think, just like last night. It synced up, and then we got the sell-off today that we expected. And the UVIX, hitting our buy area, which, we had, our elite members had this trade. I've showed this trade before. And of course, we'll see where this goes. We have seen at times, the UVIX hit these areas like we saw here back in July, and then essentially go vertical. We just don't know what the future holds. We have no idea. Don't let anyone say they know what's going to happen next. All right, MBIS. Let's jump to it. NBIS Group. NBIS Group testing this low. Typically, if we tag it a second time, I'd like to still say it's in 2. Let's take a look at the RSI. As you can see, you didn't really make any divergence from this peak. So it looks like you're in a flat correction, which means it could end anywhere here. It just needs to finish 5 waves. It's already finished the cycle. So you'd have to put the 2 here because this cycle ended with this little bounce. If it were to go lower, then you're looking at something like a 1-2, and it's going to go lower. And you're still in a flat, and it could still be in a bull market. It's just painful to watch. We really need, I think, from a technical perspective, it really needs to hold this low on this back test, right? That we're getting a lot of stocks made this 2-wave today. A lot of stocks did this pullback against the low last week, but they need to hold those lows, or they're going to become broken charts, right? Broken charts. If they can't hold those lows, the charts are broken, guys. The charts are broken. It won't be a straight line down, but it will be a trend lower. The algos will just start shorting every pop, and you have no chance. So, again, that's how I look at this count. Hopefully, you found the low today, like most of our stocks that have done this, and you can go higher. At least get another swing, even if it were to go lower. But that's the setup you're betting on. But the way this stock looks, 8 out of 10 stocks look the same way. Look just like this. Pulled back today, held the low. We break the low, all bets are off. So that would be what I would be watching for. You break the low, you can use your imagination how fast it goes down. This top would break. It could easily come back into these areas, and quickly too. So it has to hold. It has to hold this level. All right, guys. Next question, Indo. So because I don't think oil's finished, I think Indo is a connector that can be traded. Right? Again, you can't fall in love with the stocks in bear market. Oil has got to go lower eventually, but oil is in a situation where it could rally more. Now, right now, oil could make this a 5th wave still, and then rally hard back up to 72. If that happens, Indo should pump. If we're already in X, Indo should pump. If we're at bigger X, Indo's really going to take off. But at some point, guess what comes? Y. Indo will collapse. Then the real low emerges of wherever it is at that point. Maybe it makes a higher low if we're lucky, and then an energy crisis emerges in the nation. And yeah, that's what happens. Oh shit. What did I do? Somebody screwed up somewhere. I wonder who they'll blame for this screw up when this happens. Will the Fed be blamed for being too accommodative? Will Trump be blamed for his tariff and over stimulating domestic consumption, or would he be blamed for starting a war with Iran? Or will Iran be blamed? Or would someone in the Middle East be the boogeyman? But make no mistake, guys, Y is coming. Y is coming. Go buy your EVs now. Go buy your EVs now, because and sell your SUVs, because you're not gonna. I have to dump my Mustang. Mustang will be parked in the garage for a while up here. But I think for now it's business as usual, and we're okay trading. Again, look at this connector wave. I mean, this is such a mess. And the problem with oil is the connector wave can go on for a long time, right? We've seen that essentially here. That's the problem with the oil markets. Look at that connector, and then we got the capitulation. So God knows how long this is going to go on for in here, right? God knows, and will capitulate. So, but at some point it will, and once it does one of these, you're going to get one of these. So I think Indo is going to trade with oil, and I think that's the way to trade it. We're hoping to bounce an X. If we're really lucky, you get a bigger X. Okay, and if you're super unlucky, it's just going to crash from here, which can always happen. So let's look at Indo real quick and just see how that chart looks. Okay, couple things. We're breaking out of a massive trend line that I have here. We had a false breakout here, but massive consolidation. Why do we care about that? Well, the last time we broke out of such a consolidation back here, it resulted in Indo going from $4, even lower, $3 to almost, I think, $80. So that's why we care about these breakouts. So we're patiently waiting and waiting and waiting. But again, this is like a child. This is like the parent version of it. Whenever we break out of this, technically we should go beyond $86. But it will happen when you aren't long it. That's how the market works. So when you expect it, it won't happen. So more than likely, what I think we're going to see here is a connector that marries the oil trade itself. So if it's a small connector, maybe X can come back up to 450, somewhere around here, and then we get a bigger dump later. Or it's something else. Or we get some separation. Maybe we finish our first impulse, something like this. And then it dumps all the way back down. But it doesn't break this low. But oil breaks the low. That's another idea. So all we care about is the cycle's over. So we're going to get long. Right? A cycle is over. This cycle down is ended. It's over. The cycle is over. Because it's over, being short is not the right thing to do. Being long is the right thing to do. Right? We're breaking out. Look at the weekly down here in the RSI. The weekly also shows a breakout. Look. Now, is it the breakout? The one that's going to, everyone... No. We're still in the downtrend. So it's still a connector. We break this. Now you got something to work with. Okay? Likely to get rejected on here. Okay? So the monthly still in a bull market, crossing over, should continue higher. Should take this peak out one day. So that's the cycle. So why do we can't worry about what it is. We just get long. We just get long and let the market decide for us what it's going to do. And we don't care about worrying about how much we're going to make. We worry about how much we're going to lose. How much are we going to lose is what we worry about, not what we make. What we make is, I could care less. $4, $80, whatever. Because once I get my entry, I'm just going to let the market take it to wherever it's going to take it. And then I'll let the market tell me it's time to leave. So more than likely, Indo's in some kind of correction. This is likely the path. It looks impulsive. You've got divergence. All the conditions here. My elite members, we gave the breakout alert somewhere down here. So we're well in the profit. Elite members got the breakout alert. Weekend update. We just like market buy it. Just market buy it. Because there's no point waiting for a pullback on something like this. And that proved to be the case. Now, there's also another chance. 2's already done. It's already done. And it's too late. And we're going to open up. And we're going to gap up. We're going to gap up and run. We've seen this gap up before, 45, 65%. It's done that before. Back in these days, back here. And we traded it back here, guys, on my channel. That's why I have these boxes. I had to buy here. And we made a ton of money quickly. We even had to buy here. And this one was a nice pump. So, we're good. If you're lucky and you're watching my live stream and we get another dip down, consider yourself lucky to be listening to be able to get it in this area. But there's no guarantee. It may already be too late. It may already be over. And now it's too late. But we could get that dip and then we could see it run. As long as it's above 249. Now, if oil collapses for whatever reason, well, it's obviously going to, you're going to stop out. And that's just the way it goes. But we gave it a try. And we'll stick with it because eventually it will come out. Will come out. Right? That's likely to happen. Right? It doesn't have to, but it's likely. All right? That's what we're hoping for. That's what we want to see. And we come out. So that's what I hope happens. And if we're super lucky, it goes really high. So anyway, guys, that's Indo. All right. So I believe it's a connector. Now, never hit 230. No, it didn't. So, like I said, it may not be a connector. What if it makes enough space, and then when it pulls back off of 5, and it doesn't break this low? Could do that. So we just don't know how the market's going to behave. We don't know exactly. We don't know. All we know is it's breaking out. The cycle, the downtrend is over. This 3-leg downtrend is over. It's going higher until it won't anymore, and then it will go into a new downtrend, and we'll get out of it, or we'll stay with it and keep our stop at 247, and then make the market take us out, which is probably what I'd recommend right now. All right, Uber. Uber is a loved and cherished stock by mainstream media, institutions. They're just constantly pumping that on TV. So just understand, if you're going to go long Uber, you have the whole world behind you. You have every analyst, every spokesman they bring on TV will support this stock no matter what. We did have the buy here. It just missed our entry technically. I mean, you get the idea. It came down in 3. It's already reacted. So this low's got to hold at 69.45. So if you're hoping for Uber to come down, it's probably not going to do that. It's probably too late. So you're going to have to either just stick your neck out and buy it, or watch it go to higher highs without you. Because if it breaks this low, then we've got a bigger problem on our hands. One, with the overall market, and two, the structure of this chart. Because if you really look at what we have here, we have a running flat right here, which is very bullish structure. and then you have an impulse up, and then 1, 2. If we break this, we're probably coming back to retest 59. But it's likely to break 59. So if you break 59, then this was some kind of connector, and we'd have to take another like step back and look at an even bigger picture and go, was this a connector here? So it would require a whole nother, deeper analysis. And so it really needs to hold this low to stay bullish, I think, and I think it's going to. But if it doesn't, it could revisit this low. So I'll give a new level, 61 and 59, and you better believe they'll bring out so many people onto TV to get you to buy it. It's almost, at least you have an army of people on your side if you're trying to go long. I think it's going to come out of this. I think it's going to come out of this, is what I think. And why do I think that? Well, we made a higher high here. I mean, it'd have to be a bigger flat even, maybe. Maybe this is an A, B, C. So yeah, if you break this, it could turn into a 1, 2. Again, I just tweaked the count. I'll just do 1, 2, 1, 2, and it just come all the way back down, probably back down to $39. That's probably what would happen. It would turn into a flat, is what it would do. But then it would find support and be probably an amazing opportunity. But I think for now you just kind of trade it like this and see what the market wants to do with it, and see if it wants to come out of this kind of consolidation it's going through. Good luck on that. And then Cisco, we still had, I think, one more high for Cisco, and then that should be that for that stock. I think that's all she wrote after that. So again, if you're going for this high, you're just picking up the pennies in front of the steamroller. Because when one's done, it's probably one on the whole thing. All the way back to 2002. So we're looking at a collapse, probably back down to $32. A false breakout is essentially what you'll get here. So, I mean, there's always a chance it could erase divergence and fool everybody, right? There is always the perma-bull chart. The perma-bull will always say that. But the reality is, you have so much bearish divergence here, I don't know how you're going to erase it. It would take a spectacular pump to erase that divergence on this 5. But it has to hold the 5. And this is kind of an important pivot here, because you broke the cycle on this little bounce. If it doesn't, it's going to take another leg lower. So I'll give you a new target if it does that. That would be a new buy target. If it just decides to do the double correction without any significant rally. Now when you look at it, you're going to start to overlap 1, but it's 5, so you can do that. It's okay, I think, in 5s to do that. But now you have to start thinking, was this a flat? Was this 5 finished, and was this some kind of A, B, C? So just understand you could be catching a fallen knife. So personally, I don't mind buying it here and putting a stop at 59 or 59, and then. But I think this is a very high risk buy here. I think this is a lot higher risk because it could turn into a flat. You're catching a fallen knife, and you'll get annihilated. So I think that's why I have it here. So I think it's one more high, and then at some point, a catastrophe in the market happens, which we all know is coming eventually. All right. Oscar, OSCR. Let's go to that. Some kind of biotech. All right. At least it's not a go to zero. Let's see here. We got some kind of impulse down and an impulse up. So a very kind of confusing pattern, but we don't have enough data to really overanalyze it. So we're just going to chart it from the low. It's an impulse up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So now it's pulling back. Now here's your 4. So it could find support here, but that doesn't look like a way it should bottom, right? That doesn't look like a good bottom, right? So it looks like you're in a connector, and you're in some kind of triangle. You're ending in some kind of triangle here. I'll try to do the best I can to label it for you, but triangles can be tricky because you have to get it just right, and you can miss a swing pretty easily. Something like that. But I could also label it as an ABC, ABC, and it does something like that. So very, very tough to label that. So the level could be a couple levels, but I think this is the best way to get the level would be like 832. So I would be looking for more downside in kind of a triangle as it finishes out. Y. But if it wants to really back up hard, then we're going to still be in X, and we'll have to change the target. So I think the structure isn't good to buy it here. I think it needs more downside, but it's likely to hold the low because it's 5 up and make another high. That's what it's likely to do that. Okay. KSS. Kohl's, I heard, got obliterated on earnings in our buy area, but it broke our low. So the setup's lost. So it's another broken chart. So it's a broken chart, so it's still in the grand super cycle. Okay. This was kind of backing into the low because now you're looking at, is this another JC Penney's? Is this going to zero, guys? Right? Don't catch a fall. Don't go into a stock that's just going to go to zero. Because now we're looking at 64 cents. Right? This is essentially a future penny stock. So something is fundamentally wrong with their business right now. So I would just say short at will. I would short this without hesitation on any pops. And it's something's gone terribly wrong with their company, and I don't know what it is because I don't read their earnings report. I just heard from online that they had a tragedy on earnings. It was like a catastrophe. See, we haven't taken divergence out, so yeah, this has got a lot more downside to come. A lot more. 1, 2. Let's see how this bottom perfect, and it still stopped you out. So this is what you call a go to zero chart, guys. It's a go to zero chart. It is what it is. I mean, I wish I had better news out there. It's weird because this looks like 5 waves up. It was very deceptive. It's a very deceptive pattern because it looks like 5 waves up. So it was it gave the illusion as if it was impulsive, but obviously it isn't. Or maybe it's this. Maybe it's going to fool everybody here. Right? And then it does some kind of corrective structure. Like that, which means we need an impulse down. Down, and we're still in 3. So that's what's got to play out still, right? All that's got to play out still. So there you go. If it can survive that, that's the count that allows it to still stay in existence. Okay, good luck on that. ARQQ, ARC. I still have, oh, this is a quantum stock, not ARC, my bad. Quantum, you know, qubits hit the sell area, it's already pulling back. So this was our buy area. Look, it tagged it perfectly in a double bottom. Again, no excuses not to have doubled your money, because I gave you guys this trade and I gave you guys the sweet spot and it covered it. So again, we've done really well on my channel predicting the quantum stocks, so hopefully you'll get a 5. But as I've talked about, 5s aren't guaranteed. There's no guarantee of a 5, which means if it doesn't do that, it's going to go to new lows. So it's in a 4. It looks like, to me, you got some kind of triangle in 4, A, B, C, D, E, and then you should get a 5. Something like that, right? And pull back, and then launch. That's what it should do. But it could just launch from here. It could be another 1 too. So it doesn't have to do it just like I have. This is the most likely path, but it could also just go 1, 2, and out. But obviously, if you were long here, you just hold the position and let the market stop you out, because the higher high here implies we should break these highs. Okay. Donut. Donut is, I think Donut may have bottomed today, but because I can label this 4 like this, and this reaction was strong enough to kind of reset the cycle, right? So I'm going to call it a bottom in. This cycle's over. So this low has to hold 530. If it can't, it will take a whole new cycle lower, right? And you know what that means. So there you go. So I think it bottomed. Been keeping an eye on it. Waiting patiently. Pinpointing our entry. And today was it. Today you had to pull the trigger on it. Or yesterday. But yesterday it wasn't quite clear. Yesterday you thought it was maybe a 4 or something. But now it's pretty clear it's bottomed. So I think that's it. So it's got to hold. If this doesn't hold, then it's some kind of 1, 2, and it's just going to go much lower down here. I would dump it. All right. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Yep. And anyway, so let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave. Obviously, you must like it enough to listen in. But I don't mind dissenters or people that don't like me listening. So it doesn't matter. My channel is open to all people, all opinions, because obviously you called in to listen. And I've even had people call in so they could tell me I was wrong, and then it actually we make money, and then they're like, oh shit, and then it's like they convert. So I'll convert you, Howard. You'll be a believer soon enough. I mean, if you don't believe me, guys, some dude on here a week ago asked me about qubits. Guys, asked me about this on this chart. Look, I said it was a 4, and we're probably going to get a 5, guys. And if you get a 5, we were trading here. I said you have a no-risk entry. Just buy it. Put your stop at 370. You have no risk. That guy is laughing to the bank. Look at that. He made that, or she. He got that from my analysis on this channel. We also got the buy here, and also qubits, we got the buy here and here. So again, people like to say that, oh, this is just bullshit and they don't know, but this is real money. People are really making a fortune, guys. My sister's making a ton on this stock. Like, this real money. It's real money buying real shit out there. Vacations, a swimming pool for their kids. So it's not, this ain't like a joke. Like, this isn't just like on pieces of paper, guys. This is real shit. And guess what? I said to sell it here. And look what happened. Holy shit, it sold off. So maybe I'm lucky. Like I was lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. Look what comes next. Shit. So my point is I'll convert any non-believers. That's fine. Because you're called in for a reason, and hopefully you listen to what I'm saying. And you stay alert, because honestly, guys, people are making a lot of money listening to. Obviously, I started my channel. I already have 240 members in a month. 240 members in a month. Most of them paying $50 a month. They're not doing that just because they feel sorry for me. I must be doing something right, guys. So just all I got to say. All right. And it's no charity here. So yeah, you have to pay $5. If you want your symbol analyzed by me, it's $5. Don't be a cheap bastard. It's $5. Okay, let your winners ride. BMY, Bristol Myers. All right. I worry about Bristol Myers a little bit, but maybe I'm starting to change my mind. I've had a hard time with this chart, but we'll go back and take another look at it. Big picture, you had your peak here, so that you could say that's your 3 of 3, and you come down here, right, and then you made a higher peak. So is all this a wave 5, an extended fifth? That would be a catastrophe. If this is an extended fifth, this is a catastrophe for shareholders. They don't even know. It's a ticking time bomb. So it doesn't seem believable, right? This can't be a wave 5. If it is, we would come all the way back down to $6. I mean, holy crap. Like, so we can't in good faith say it. So what we're going to have to do is call it like a 1-2-1-2. And then we corrected this first move, this cycle here. So this is the only thing, and again, I've been going back and forth on this, but I think, and I wouldn't put 3 there because you've had so much divergence. It's not how a wave 3 works on the grand super cycle. So then if you come down here, you have bullish divergence. It's likely to take another swing lower. Here's your wave 4 target. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to buy, but just not yet. And I believe you're in a connector wave that's probably right about ready to end, because we're seeing Eli Lilly's end. It has probably already ended. The target is tricky because when you have a connector wave like this is typically the way to get the target, and that would be 32.45 right in this area here. And that's the wave 4, and that would complete the cycle ideally and erase the divergence that I typically see. So again, you'll have to decide. Let me just look at this leg real quick here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe put the A here. And yeah, see, it's going to go higher. So this one's tricky. So this one's tricky. So we're still in a connector, but it's in another connector. So it's going to do something like A, B, something like that. That's what I think is going to happen. And we're in this kind of mess here. And it could resolve itself this way and then higher. This way and then higher. That's what I think. And then lower. I don't think the connector's done because of this structure here. Okay, VOD. You know, it only looks like 3 waves up here to me. No divergence. So very dangerous chart on the grand supercycle because it could easily be this. And that's probably the right way to call it. There, and you see that that's typically not how you bottom out, even if it's in a shorter cycle. So it's probably in this correction. Still, it needs to go down in an impulse, and you could try to, you know, label it the best you can. Maybe one more low. Again, it could always erase divergence. It almost did here. Yes, I think that's how I'd label it for now. It's going to retest this low, but it should be a pretty vicious wave down when it does. All right, VST. So we had this chart, we had the wave 5. Obviously that wave 5 is probably over unless we erase divergence, and we haven't. So looks like we nailed this one, another one that we got right. Look, you must have asked me back in August, and hopefully you stayed long and made a fortune. But it looks like you're in a flat now, in an extended 5th wave. And it's going to go, it's probably going to come back down to 66. It's probably going to lose that whole wave 5. That's probably what's going to happen here. Now, optimistically, I could say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. You get one more low, but this could also be another 1, 2. Okay, but it doesn't have to be. I guess it could finish out here at 92. So I mean, it could do this and then bottom out and then go next cycle higher, right? But that's how. So I think this one's tough because I would have liked to see it come down here, but it does. It seems like it may just need one more low. CI, Cigna Group. Pretty bullish chart. On the grand super cycle there, you have your wave 3 here. Looks like this is your 1, 2, your 3, 4 right there. So this one looks like it's coming to the end. It's coming to the end of its journey in a massive extended 5th wave. But here you see how the 3 took this peak out. So this is a 3. That is a 4. And there's your 3 of 5. And there's your 5 of 5. So this is a massive red alert. If you own this, you better have some hedges or maybe take a little bit off the table. Because this is coming to an end. It may have already ended and people don't even realize it yet. And that means it will take a journey back down to $80 over many, many years. It's remember, not everything can go up all the way. This looks like this is over, right? It looks like the cycle is over. And you broke it. Oh, it's trying to save itself, but like it's likely not going to be able to do it. So this could probably be an amazing short opportunity right here. Short it and then close your short out at 366. You may not have a better short than that. Present it as this starts its journey lower and some corrective structure of your choosing. So this looks like it's over. It's over. The only chance it has is if it could retake this high and try to extend 5 and get some acceleration. But the bears are in charge. As long as it's below this 369 level, this stock is in a lot of trouble. Okay, it's in a lot of trouble. That's probably what's happened. It's probably the top of the right shoulder right here. That's probably the top of the right shoulder right there. Okay. Gold grand super cycle. So we are seeing it erase divergences. Okay, we're seeing gold erase divergence. Okay, so that means it could extend in the grand super cycle. Gold can extend in the grand super cycle. Okay. Let's see how clear this chart is. But basically, you know, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in 5 of the grand super cycle. But if we can erase divergence, we have to go to the quarterly chart here. If we can erase this divergence, that changes everything, because then this is a 1, 2. And it very well may be, because again, this peak really didn't take these peaks out here. These are irrelevant. That to me is irrelevant. So there's a possibility that this is also a 1, 2 right here. Okay. There is a chance that this is a 1, 2 as well. And if it is, then gold's going to start to see even more acceleration higher in the grand super cycle. Okay. And we could take a look, bigger picture, you know, looking at a couple things here. Let's just play around. So we want to probably try to create a channel if we can, a parallel channel. That's a 38, 4,000 target. I bet that's probably, if it's going to accelerate, that's probably the first real big test, and then a consolidation, and maybe even higher than that. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go through, like, you know, there's the perma bulls in gold that think it's going to 25, 50,000 an ounce. I mean, when it, you know, when something like a commodity squeezes, there's really no way to tell how high it's going to go, but it does look like it's starting to accelerate and not decelerate. So as we count the swings in gold, we just kind of stay long. Again, we had a buy here, a buy here. Our basic members got these buys here and here. If you followed me, we even had a buyback here and a buyback here. I mean, we've had so many opportunities to get long gold. It's not even funny. So it's not like we've missed our chance, okay? But now we're in the kind of the blow off, the extension phase, or you know, or it is a 5 and it's about to surprise everyone and end abruptly, shockingly, and trap a lot of people, because once this shorter cycle finishes and is close to finishing, then on the grand super cycle it was, see, there's a little bit of bearish divergence here, and there's a little bit here to here. There's a possibility, it's not likely, again, especially with this erasure or divergence right there, but there's a possibility it could become a bigger wave 5 off of this cycle and then come back to 817, 1600. But it's I think that is like a 10% chance now, seeing all the acceleration, the extension. So I think for now the best count is it's going into a wave 3 of 3 for gold, and it will continue to extend higher. The thing about it is there'll be pullbacks at some point. It'll slow down. Like I said, maybe I think 3,400 is the first test for a pullback, but I think 4,000 is the blow off. Like the cycle ends there for a while. But I would say that gold's erasure diverges. But what's interesting is the miners aren't making similar highs. Why is that? Well, it's inflation, right? Commodities hurt the margin of the miners, right? Because their expenses are higher, and while the gold price is high, it isn't high enough to overcome the cost pressure and the interest rate pressure they face for capex. So they're not, as a business, they're not doing that well. Even though, oh well, it just should be, they should be making a fortune. It's just not. But at some point, if the economy deflates, if there's less inflation and interest rates fall, and gold can stay at these levels, the miners will accelerate and will do very well and catch up. But our forecast in interest rates is higher, and our forecast in oil is eventually higher, even though it goes lower momentarily. So we may see the metal do well and the miners not so well still in that environment. The next 5 to 10 years, I think, is going to be us like, it's again, timing is tough, but I think you're going to parabolic up to 3,400, stop there, get up to this 4,000, and then consolidate. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes all the way back down, and then after 5 years, you've made nothing. I'm just not, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. So, but we don't know the future. Maybe it will go crazy high, like it did back in the the 60s and 70s. Like, we don't know, but it is it's accelerating and it keeps pushing higher. You know. I think the Russell's got a whole sequence lower that's still going through, but it's got a three-way move down, similar to we saw in the 2017 to 2019 era, 2020 era. I mean, all right. KURL. Eric here. I spelled it wrong. All right, let's see what happened here. So as you can see, so once you breach our support area, typically when that happens, it makes another leg lower, which it did. So it double corrected down. I still think it's going to stay supported in two, but what's happening, like with everything, what's the market cap of this? These smaller market cap companies are struggling to find a bid. And so you basically had a shallow connector here, and it failed. So you double correct it, which is always a risk. It's always a risk, and that's typically what happens if the first support area doesn't work out. And so now it's up in 3 again. Maybe that's the connector there. We've broken the whole cycle. So yeah, so now you could put the 2 there. So it double corrected. It's just it's just one of those things that the market does, and so you have to just kind of stick with it. But now that we have a break of the cycle here, now we could trade it with a little more confidence on the upside as it pulls out of the bottom. So looks like clearly that looks like a wave 4 typically what you see. Again, some kind of 1 2 and then 1 2. Well, let's just look at it here. So it's moving in 3s, okay, and that's an X wave or B wave. So I would label it like this, and this is probably some kind of consolidation, or it can even be done here already. The other possibility is it goes like A, B, C, D, E. So typically when I see this, it's a continuation for another move, but it is very corrective. So what that also implies is this bounce is likely to fail again whenever it finishes. So it is in an uptrend, but at some point it's probably going to go lower again. I think you'll probably get back up to 261, and then there'll be a test to see if it can come back and then lower. So I think it's moving in 3-wave increments, and so it's probably something like this now. That's the first, and then it would do something bigger like that, and then that would probably be where either it goes to new lows or it can break out and go higher. And this was some kind of like 1 2 3 4 5, and it's just moving in 3 waves, a lead in diagonal off the lows, which we don't know. So I'll just leave it this way, but as long as you're above 105, it should still be supported. So we'll just label it like this, and it just did a double correction, and that sometimes can happen. Okay, XRP. So taking profits like a personal decision because you know it depends on your goals, your time horizon, how much money you've made in it, your other investments. Too many factors for me to tell you what to do with that. But I'll just tell you the chart, and you, like I always say, you got to do what's best for you. Um, it's still, you know, I still see it above this pivot. Again, a lot of ways to label this area, this middle area here. I could label it as like 3, you know, like there's 2, this could become like 3, well, that's 5 down, so it would be like an A, B, C, and I could put a W here, I could put an X here and another Y, like there's too many ways, so that's why I said as long as you're in this zone, you accumulate, and as long, and then, but if you break this low, make no mistake, the price probably is going to go lower, right, a lot, and it could go a lot lower. So you'll have to decide, like if it breaks that low, you could see 127.87, even a back test of 70 cents. So you could lose a lot of your profit potentially if that's the case. And it very well could still do that and be bullish, but I think personally it really needs to hold this low. It really needs to hold this February low. Right, and consider yourself lucky because a lot of crypto's below their February lows right now, but XRP is not. So that's another interesting thing. Okay, good luck on that. I think oil bottoms when the market bottoms. So I don't think I think oil capitulation is typically just like a risk-off panic, nowhere to hide but cash type meltdown, staples dump, everything dumps, and that's gold and silver will dump. It's that type of day. That's the capitulation you usually see. It's a big deflationary risk-off. Cash is your only thing, and we haven't seen that yet. TRNR. All right. Again, it's really hard to chart these kind of go to zero stocks, but what we do is we just trade it from the last pivot. Now, if you look, it's only in 3 waves, erase divergence. So you have to assume that it's in a new downtrend. There's no reason to think it could come back up when that happens because there's no impulse. So what you do is you just kind of label it going lower. And then you just wait and see when you have to just stick your neck out and buy it when you feel like it's made 5 waves up, 5 waves down. Because there's really no other way to trade these charts. Probably something like that. And then see what happens is you come back and you see how you risk divergence, and that just screws your whole chart up because you think you're finished and you're like, no, you just erased divergence. So it's going to continue to extend lower. And that's the tough part with this Elliott waves. They don't it's very hard to predict, or it doesn't predict extensions. This divergence erases. So now you're in your first wave 5, hopefully. So as you can see, you have more downside that's going to need to take place before you can get any kind of rally. So do something like that. And then when that's all done, it should rally back up to your wave 4 area, 124, wherever this is. So I don't think there's any reason to think it's going to, it should just continue lower, and then at some point you'll get a relief rally. Right, and then that should fail, and then when you get the next wave down, then you can get a much bigger pump because then you'll have 3 waves down, and then when you get this 1, 2, 3, then you can get a really big pump. something like this or even bigger. But until then, I think this is the chart you're going to see play out. Okay, BABA could be making a top here in wave 5. Also here, so BABA here. There, where's our chart? There we go. Give it a second to load. It's taking a while. So we have BABA here as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then within that, we have another some 4s and 5s left. So it could be coming to the end. But as I showed you before, it can accelerate and race divergence, and this could become another 1, 2. So we don't try to guess the top. But technically speaking, it could be at a major top here in 3 and a higher degree 3. Or if it's going to extend higher, this could also become a 1, 2. But it's probably a 3. Looking at that divergence, it's probably another bigger 3. For a bigger 4, a bigger 5, and then a big pullback, and then the wave that everyone dreams about happens. That goes just essentially vertical. So that's probably what you'll get, something like this. The surprise would be if it just erases divergence and goes, but you don't know. No one knows the future but I'm just showing you the chart. So the chart should just, depending on where your entry is, you just stay long. But the cycle could be coming to an end soon, this wave 3. Yeah, BBAI had a black swan event, and that's a broken chart now, guys. I mean, it's a broken chart. They had to count in irregularities, and the minute that happens, those stocks get obliterated because there's certain funds and stuff that just can't hold them, and everybody sells. So we were looking for a bigger push in wave 2. We even started to break out, and then they dropped that news. So wave 2 is over. So it's just going to keep going down. It's just going to grind down in an impulse. So when the pump, there ain't no pump. There ain't no pump. It's a broken chart. It's a broken chart. Right? It's just going to keep grinding lower. And who knows? Use your imagination how low it goes. But I think the best case scenario, if you're stuck in that trade, is you get a whipsaw out to fill this gap, and then I'd highly recommend you dump it if it does that. So that's still possible. That may happen because of how we came off that low here, but it's not guaranteed. And it was, they just had to count in irregularities or whatever the hell you want to call it, and that just pretty much was the nail in their coffin. So this thing's toast. But we already knew. We had it in a C. We knew this was going to be a 2. We knew this was going to fail. Just, geez, we thought we'd get a little bit bigger rally out of it. But I guess not. So that's the danger of trading a chart like this. The 2 just drunk. The 2, we thought we'd get a bigger move. But the company said, nope, not today. We're dropping some news. Okay. So let's see, MSOS. Let's take a look at that MSOS here. We've been looking at that, and again, it's just they're basically pricing that sector to go to bankruptcy. But I've been doing the labels. We're seeing the bullish divergences. We're hopeful that it's going to come to an end. But that looks like one more low. This box obviously is irrelevant. We were looking for a flat. It just didn't happen, and it's just finishing a full cycle down here in 5. Okay, so what we need is not to erase divergence. If you erase divergence, this thing's just going to keep going down. So again, I don't know. I don't know the financials of these companies that well, but I would just say that maybe the tariffs are going to hit them harder than we thought. Higher rates hit them harder, and maybe the underlying companies in the ETF aren't going to make it, aren't going to survive for some reason. I don't know why they wouldn't, but they may not. There's no guarantee. Like all stocks can go to zero, but to have a whole sector, that's very like that didn't seem likely. It still doesn't. All right, so it's kind of just consolidating in our buy area. Looking at it here, again, that looks like a 3-4. Again, it's at the very end of this wave. And a 5. I mean, that's what it looks like. Again, I'm just labeling it based on how it looks to me. 1, 2. Like that. I mean, who knows? I mean, I could be one off, but it looks like it's trying to do something here. Looks like it's trying to do something here. That's the line you want to break. So it's at a very critical moment, as you can see. Look. See that? Big move is going to happen. One side's about to get blown up. But at this point, you know, this whole move has gone. We need something like this. I think it needs a bounce. I don't know. I'm still surprised how weak that sector's been. All right, Cura. The only thing I could think of is that tariffs are doing more damage to these companies than we realize, and maybe they're even telling their investors. All right, B. Let's just label it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So here we are again, another 5. With the divergences intact. So these charts tell me any moment now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Like any moment now. And I could put that there, like tough to, any moment. All right, GT. Looks like we haven't labeled this one before. Oh, there it is. This one's a little different. We haven't seen the capitulation yet, but now we're starting to. Something like that. See, we have an erased divergence, so you need to be careful. I think this one.
Do you want me to use ChatGPT?
So I think this one here is going to do something like that. This one looks like it could be having a bigger move down soon. Okay. Yeah, I think if we get a bigger flush down, it stabilizes us into the fall. Because I mean, the markets typically don't like have a sustainable crash like bear market like real bad until typically it's September, October. So this little bit we're in should hopefully come to an end, this downtrend, and then the market should be sustainable through the summer typically. It could be weak, right, weak action, but it should not be like, you know, like this type of price action typically you don't see. Usually you see connector waves or tops born in the summer, and then the crashes happen in October and November. That's usually what you see, or I'm sorry, September or October, especially October. So, you know, so what I'd like to see is one more flush down or one more low down, and then we can build and have tradable bottoms here through the summer, and then get more defensive going into September and October. That would be such a perfect setup, but the market maybe isn't going to be so perfect because I think in 2011 the market got hit hard in the summer months, right? And wasn't 2010 the flash crash in May? So it doesn't always work that way, but it's typically what you see happen. Okay, Geo. So this is where I'm at now. Again, it's hard because we're in a connector wave. The forecast, like where it's going to go, it could still pump back up here, and if it does, we raise our target up. It's likely to come back down in this area. You do have a gap. It just seems likely to me that that's what's going to happen, but it is in a connector, and like I said, it looks like you could pull back and make, like if I was doing this, I would think it would be, if I was going to try to label this connector, the what I think, you have three and you come up, it looks like you finished either like 1, 2, 3, 4, you finished 5 here, and then you're in 2, and then you do something like that. That's what I think will happen here, but is 2 done? Probably not. It's probably going to come back down like that and then higher. That's what I think it will do. And finish this flat, and then it could see another leg lower. That's what I think. Okay? But it's in a messy connector. But because it made a lower low like this, its odds are likely whatever happens here is going to fail for another low. Typically, you see that. Yeah. So I got through all the super chats, guys. Before I wrap it up, I'll just kind of scan through the comments and like I said, the only people I ever block for my channel is inappropriate language, offensive language, that type of thing. But if you want to, or that type of stuff. But if you disagree, fine, disagree. You can listen in. Like I said, I want to convert people, and and then you could become, an Elliott Wave Sage disciple and believer, a true believer. Let my charts convince you. I mean, there's a reason I got a lot of people following me. And I mean, I'm not losing subscribers. They're not canceling. And I had members. I have 4,700 something people follow me on YouTube. I don't think those people would follow me. I usually get about 1,000, 1,500 views on all my videos. So, and like I said, we've done well on this channel. Like Tesla's another example. If you're new to me, I mean, we've called Tesla, I mean, perfectly, guys. I mean, you have services you could pay thousands of dollars for, and they didn't call this wave right. We did. We had to buy here. We got the pump. We have the short here, still open. Didn't close it here. Had the guts to keep it open. And now we'll be closing it, ringing the register, and flipping long very soon. Well, most people lost all their money because they had no idea what was going on. We also had a short here. Look at that. These are real levels, guys. My system isn't like, just as you know, look, we had a buy here, we had a buy here, we had a buy here, we had a buy here. This is no joke. My channel here, we called the short here against that high, almost like we had on coming into Monday, a complete collapse. So again, this system works. It works. People just don't understand it because they're either a fundamental investor or they just don't understand the method, which is fine. You don't have to understand it. You just have to understand like the levels. Like if you understand, I mean, most people will look at this chart and know this is probably the right place to buy because this is support. But my system also brings you to that level naturally. So it just it is what it is. But I have numerous examples of this. NVIDIA, we actually called the peak, the day of the peak. A guy named Donald on my channel I know because he asked me a lot of questions. I gave him that peak and I told him that day it peaked. And sure enough, it's never been higher since. I called the continuation higher in Nvidia too. Back here on this 4. It was like right around here. On this, it was a nice 3-wave rally. Most people thought this was the peak, and we actually called the bottom here and kept people in the market because it was a 3-wave move. Our system caught that. So anyway, guys, Nvidia may see some darker days. Now, Nvidia could also pump here into a little bit more, which is okay. And we'll short it if it does that. But if not, we'll watch it tumble and everyone panic on TV and yell and scream and all that. And we'll be ready to buy it around in the 80s somewhere. But for now, we'll just wait. Again, all these tech stocks I kept you guys out of from buying them much earlier. Up, you remember when I started my channel, all those call boys on Twitter buying the first dip up here on Amazon and all the like. No, we'll wait. 182, 188. And sure enough, we're here, and it may actually go even lower. I kept everyone out of this fallen knife, guys. I kept you all out of these fallen knives. Netflix, we called the peak, right? We called the peak, and we called this peak. I said we were at a major peak, and guess what? It started to collapse. So, guys, this is my system. It's not 100%, but it works most of the time. All right, it works most of the time. Big moment for the Dow tonight. Look, it's going to try to backtest this area again. Let's see if it can get through it. We'll see if we can get through it. Let's see what's the yen up to. Are they goosing the yen carry trade again? They have to be, right? That's the only way they can get the market higher. Yep. See. Yen, I already know when I look at the market, I already know the yen's doing that. So we're probably, again, this will allow the market to pump more. This yen carry trade. That'll allow the market to pump more, and that may be what we're seeing. But again, it's got to take this peak out. Until then, it's still fool people. And remember, the futures are used to manipulate the market because they can be pushed around very easily by very low liquidity. So don't let that get you too excited. So all right, guys. Good. GME. My pro group's long and in the profit in GME, and won't be fair to give it to you without that. But basically, it's going higher, and they're already in the profit. Well, in the profit on that. We got the exact low on GME. So good. All right, guys. There you go. Google lower. Google's lower, guys. Google's going lower. Big cap tech's weak, right? But that's not a surprise, right? It's not a surprise to say big cap tech's weak. It's going lower. And yes, I am wrong once. It's okay to be wrong. And I always say I can be wrong. I can always be wrong. I never will say that I'm always right. And I have been wrong. BBAI was wrong, guys. We lost money on BBAI. Guess what? That's the way trading works. Nothing's 100%. All right, let's look at that real quick. So let's see here. Let's take a look here. So we have this in this bigger cycle. Obviously, this first wave was down in 3. Problem with commodities is the wave 5 is usually extended. and is usually your peak RSI, so it's a little different. So let's go to a monthly time frame and look here what's going on. So we did take that peak out, which is interesting. We have lower divergence here. It looks like it's in a new cycle higher for now. As long as it's above, see this trend line? So it's trying to have a new cycle born, but as you know, commodities spike. So it looks like you've got some kind of 5 waves down here. And then it looks like a connector, right? It doesn't look like, so my guess is it's probably going to resolve lower. And then this is still in 2. It's the only thing I can think of for this because of what's going on here. And it's some kind of A, B, and we're in C. And this could be a couple things. It could be worst case a 1, 2, 1, 2, or best case it's a 5 that's finishing up. Yeah, let's go to the yeah, it's probably going to have more downside. I would be careful it doesn't finish this cycle and break that trend line to finish the whole cycle, and you get that like deflationary bust here. So now the other stock, that's just the way to trade it. This fund, let's look at this. Yeah, see, it's very bearish, and look, you see how you made a lower low? So typically you have 3, a connector, and you come back down and you have a bullish divergence there. So if that's the case, there's a couple possibilities. You could see $3, you could see lower prices as it pushes down to erase the divergence, or it may rally a little bit more. So this is also giving you a warning sign that wheat prices will probably go lower, but it won't necessarily happen in a straight line. Okay, that's probably a connector here, so it's probably in something like that. Could it still be in B? It's possible, but I'll just leave it like that for now. And I think it's going to go lower. It just seems like that. If you do get a rally, it's going to be a bigger connector and will fail. So I think it's like oil, right? Oil can counter trend, but it's going to eventually resolve lower. This could do the same thing. So trying to predict this connector wave is pretty much impossible. But I don't think I think in the future it will resolve lower. But again, it's really hard to say, are you going to still be in a connector wave just like oil is? And I think it's going to follow its lead from the oil market, right? And you are seeing other agricultural start to move higher. So you may get pushed higher, okay? All right, TSLL is close to a buy area. And that is coming up soon. And we've been kind of tracing this out. So we're looking for $6, somewhere around there. Finishing a 5th wave. We need to maintain bullish divergence. If we erase divergence, the trade setup's lost, and I recommend not taking the trade. All right, Dollar General here. Let's take a look at DG. Dollar General is pushing out. And it looks like here you've got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, finishing a 5th wave. If it can make another high, that would be huge, because it could do something like this. It could also be another 1, 2. So it's trying to turn the corner here. We'll leave it labeled like that for now. It's starting to try to turn the corner here, finally. All right, guys. Thanks again. I appreciate everybody. And like I say, I'm not always right all the time. I always tell you do what's best for you. Trading is risky. I can be wrong, and I have been wrong too. And I'll be the first to admit that. And God knows what I've been wrong about because I don't, I just don't remember. I must have been asked. I get asked probably 30 questions every live stream for the last 4 years. So God help me if somebody's keeping score on the ones I got wrong. And but that's good. It's good that there's people that are watching me that closely and care that much. And I want people to continue to do that. And because, like I said, if your system can't handle dissent in opinion, then you don't have a system. Like so, that's why I won't block people unless you get inappropriate with language that isn't that is not appropriate on the channel, which then you're blocked. But but that's good. So there we go. So that's Dollar General, and I'll leave it at that, guys. Good luck, and we'll see what we get on Fed Day, and see if either we get a continuation of the yen carry situation, and VIX continues to get crushed, or it's the market is shocked, and there's a market accident, and the yen strengthens unexpectedly, and we'll get a huge move down. It's a very pivotal moment in the market. I don't know if traders really appreciate